I'm a 23-year-old woman, and this story really starts when I moved out for college at 18. Growing up, my family was middle class, comfortable, but not extravagant. I have a younger sister, Vanessa, who is now 18. Our parents had a way of prioritizing the child who needed it more. In theory, that sounds reasonable, but in practice, it meant that I was always expected to adjust, compromise, or outright give things up while Vanessa got the best of everything. Our house wasn't huge, but it had one standout room, a spacious guest room that had a private bathroom, large windows, and a walk-in closet. Since I was the eldest, my parents let me have it when I was young. I loved that room. It was the one space in the house that was truly mine, and I spent years decorating it exactly how I wanted. When I left for college, I knew things at home would change, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. A few weeks after I settled into college, I noticed small changes in the background of video calls home. My old room's door, which used to be closed when I visited virtually, was now wide open. One day, while scrolling through social media, I came across a video Vanessa had posted, showing off a new setup, my setup. The decorations, the furniture, everything except my personal belongings was still there, but she was acting like it had always been hers. The decorations, the furniture, everything except my personal belongings was still there, but she was acting like it had always been hers. I hadn't even been gone for a month. I called home, expecting at least a conversation about it. My parents brushed it off immediately. According to them, I didn't live there anymore, so why should it matter? They said the house needed to be arranged in a way that made sense for the people actually living there. I asked why no one told me, and their response was that it didn't seem like a big deal. They had packed up my childhood room, shoved my things into the attic, and handed it over to Vanessa as if I had never existed. I was frustrated, but I had just started a new life in college, so I let it go. Or at least I tried to. I had planned to come home for visits often, but after that, I started feeling like a guest in my own house. I still came back for the holidays, but each time it felt less like home. The first time I visited, I found that all my personal things had been boxed up without care. My books, my old journals, even sentimental items. Vanessa hadn't just moved in. She had taken over. It wasn't just the physical space either. Her attitude had shifted. Before, she was just an annoying younger sister, but now she acted like I was the outsider. She walked around like she had always been the one who belonged there, like my years in that room didn't even count. If I needed to grab something from the attic, she would sigh dramatically like I was inconveniencing her by existing. When I mentioned how weird it felt to my parents, they laughed it off. I was being dramatic. According to them, I was an adult now, so I needed to let it go. I wasn't expecting them to kick Vanessa out of the room, but I thought they'd at least acknowledge that it was messed up to erase me from the house like that. Instead, they acted like it was normal. The real breaking point came during one of my last visits before I completely stopped caring. I was home for the holidays, sitting in the living room, when I overheard Vanessa talking to her friends in her room, my old room. She was laughing about how I was just a guest now. That was the moment it all clicked. It wasn't just that my room was gone, my place in the family felt different. I wasn't an important part of the household anymore, I was just someone who stopped by. After that, I stopped bothering. I still called and kept in touch, but I was emotionally checked out. I focused on college, worked part-time to cover my expenses, and built my independence. While I was grinding to make things work, Vanessa was living in comfort, coasting through high school without worrying about money, housing, or the future. By the time I graduated, I had a solid job lined up. I was making enough to be stable, and I was proud of the fact that I had done it on my own. Meanwhile, Vanessa was in her senior year of high school, dreaming about going to an expensive private university.